The iconic position of Jack Elam inside the fine Western starting scene ever cost him everything. Jack Elam changed into one of the most unique and celebrated individual actors of the American West, whose wild-eyed look, gravelly voice, and flexible talent made him a memorable parent in both film and television. Over a career that spanned extra than for a long time, Elam carved out a completely unique area in Hollywood, mostly playing villains and comedic figures in westerns. His life story is as colorful as the characters he portrayed, marked with the aid of humble beginnings, early career struggles, and eventual stardom as one of the most recognizable faces in the enterprise. Born on November 13, 1920, in Miami, Arizona, Jack Elam's formative years became full of complication. After his mother died, whilst he changed into still a younger child, Elam and his sister had been raised via their father, a mill worker. These youth in rural Arizona could later tell many of the gritty, hard-scrabble characters Elam might, painting on display screen. Life became tough, but the younger Jack showed early resilience. Tragedy struck on the age of 12 whilst Elam was concerned in an accident that could exchange the route of his lifestyles. While attending a Boy Scout event, he became accidentally stabbed in the eye with a pencil, all through a fight, leaving him permanently blind in a single eye. This damage no longer simplest altered his bodily appearance, but additionally gave him the signature lazy, wandering eye that have become a defining characteristic of his on-display screen personality. Instead of letting the coincidence maintain him returned, Elam turned his incapacity into an asset, leveraging his unusual look to land roles that required eccentric or menacing characters. Before becoming an actor, Jack Elam led a lifestyle complete of entrepreneurial ventures and peculiar jobs. He studied at Santa Monica Junior College and briefly worked as a bookkeeper for Bank of America. His keen mind for numbers led him to grow to be an accountant for film studios and a supervisor at the Hollywood Park racetrack, wherein he forged relationships with Hollywood insiders. Through his accounting paintings, Elam had a threat to satisfy filmmakers and actors, sparking his hobby in pursuing a career inside the enterprise. However, the transition from at-the-back-of-the-scenes work to appearing became now not instant. Elam's entrance into Hollywood was unconventional, and got here because of his ambitious character. He reportedly barged into film producer Samuel Goldwyn's office and demanded an acting task, leveraging his different appearance and rough air of secrecy. His persistence paid off, whilst he became, in the end, forged in a small position in 1949's She Should Have Said No. This debut marked the start of a prolific profession. Jack Elam's speedy have become typecast as a villain within the Western style, which was flourishing in the 1950s and 60s. His particular look made him a supermatch for menacing characters, and his potential to supply extreme, memorable performances helped cement his region in Hollywood. His portrayal of outlaws, gunslingers, and sinister henchmen changed into usually compelling, with Elam bringing a mixture of threat and dark humor to these roles. One of Elam's early outstanding performances got here in High Noon, 1952, where he performed a thug who waits within the teach station for the advent of the notorious outlaw Frank Miller. His short but menacing presence in this classic film proven his potential to go away, an enduring influence even in smaller roles. As his profession stepped forward, Elam observed consistent work, often performing along legendary Western stars like John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, and James Garner. Throughout the 50s and 1960s, Elam became a fixture in Western movies together with The Man from Laramie, 1000, 955, Gunfight at the Oki Corral, 1957, and Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. His capability to embody the wild, untamed spirit of the frontier made him a fan favorite in the genre. Audiences cherished to hate Elam's characters, and his versatility allowed him to bring intensity and complexity to even the maximum stereotypical of awful men. By the late 60s, Elam began to explore new dimensions in his performing. While nevertheless portraying Western villains, he transitioned to more comedic roles, showcasing his ability to make audiences chuckle with his timing and deadpan shipping. His talent for comedy have become extensively diagnosed, and this shift broadened his attraction beyond the Western style. One of his most memorable comedic roles got here in the Western spoof Support Your Local Sheriff, 1969, wherein he played the bumbling town inebriated Jake. His knack for physical comedy, paired together with his awesome appearance, made him a standout within the movie. Audiences embraced this lighter facet of Elam, and he continued to polish in comedic roles in movies like Support Your Local Gunfighter. His collaborations with stars like James Garner established his ease in sharing the display with main men, while turning in his signature emblem of humor. In addition to his film career, Jack Elam became a quainted face on television, performing in a few of the most popular collection of the technology. He became a frequent visitor, big name on suggests like The Twilight Zone, Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, and Bonanza. Elam's range allowed him to take on roles in specific genres, from excessive dramatic parts to comedic guest appearances. Elam's longest jogging and perhaps most liked television role came in the Texas Wheelers 1974, a short-lived sitcom wherein he played Zach Wheeler, a cantankerous, lazy father of 4. Although the show turned into canceled after Handy's 8 episodes, it later won a cult following, and Elam's overall performance became praised for its humor and heart. Jack Elam's iconic position inside the opening scene of Once Upon a Time Inside the West, 1968, often hailed as one of the finest Western introductions in cinema history, stays a top second in his profession. Elam played a memorable part as one of the 3 employed weapons waiting at a desolate teach station for Charles Bronson's mysterious harmonica individual. The scene is renowned for its sluggish building tension, silent performances, and Sergio Leone's signature style of blending wide, sweeping landscapes with near-up pictures of the actors' expressive faces. For Jack Elam, this role cemented his area in Western cinema. However, it additionally came with extensive expenses both professionally and in my opinion. Jack Elam's overall performance in Once Upon a Time Inside the West turned into short, however unforgettable. The beginning scene, which is about 10 minutes lengthy, features Elam and 2 different actors in a wordless standoff as they anticipate the advent of a train. Each guy is given time to show off his persona via Leon's severe close-ups. Elam's squinting eye and scruffy demeanor made him a standout, even though he didn't talk. His grizzled look and unique lazy eye gave his person a gritty area that healthy perfectly with the film's harsh, unforgiving panorama. Leon's digital camera lingered on Elam's face, in particular emphasizing his specific eye, which had lengthy been a signature part of his persona. Elam's crossed eye, due to a coincidence in adolescence, had become a vital part of his on-screen presence. His appearance introduced a layer of threat, humor, or unpredictability to his characters, making him a favorite in westerns and villainous roles. In this scene, the juxtaposition of silence, the sounds of the creaking windmill, and the rising tension made Elam's overall performance a piece of cinematic records. However, in spite of the vast approval for his overall performance in Once Upon a Time Within the West, Elam paid a professional rate for this iconic role. The movie, and this scene specifically, became so carefully associated with him that he located himself typecast in comparable roles for lots of the relaxation of his career. While Elam had already spent many years playing helping roles in westerns and comedies, his look in Leon's film cemented his identity as a menacing, difficult-edged man or woman actor. Though beloved with the aid of fanatics of the genre, this typecasting restricted the variety of roles he was supplied, making it hard for Elam to department out into more diverse performing opportunities. Elam's profession, after Once Upon a Time Within the West, continued to thrive. However, it changed into predominantly limited to the Western genre. While he changed into, undoubtedly, a master of portraying cowboys, outlaws, and comic remedy characters in Westerns, the truth that Hollywood pigeonholed him into those roles meant he ignored possibilities to explore greater, complex, multifaceted characters out of doors. The style. The Western boom of the 1950s and 60s became beginning to wane, and as the demand for these movies declined, so did the variety of tremendous roles to be had to him. Elam's one-of-a-kind eye had lengthy been both a blessing and a curse. Born in 1920, Elam lost the sight in his left eye in a tragic twist of fate in the course of formative years, whilst a fellow boy threw a pencil at him that pierced his eye. The injury left him with a completely crossed eye and impaired imaginative and prescient, but he turned this into an asset for his acting profession. His uncommon appearance set him aside in Hollywood, giving him a facet when it got here to playing villains, henchmen, and colorful side characters. However, Elam himself frequently expressed frustration with how his eye have become the defining function of his profession. He changed into, often called upon to play components that relied on his intimidating appearance in preference to his performing capacity. Despite having a knack for comedy and extra lighthearted roles, Elam hardly ever had the chance to show that side of himself. His eye have become a visual shorthand for administrators seeking a memorable, hardened, or eccentric man or woman, often on the cost of greater nuanced performances. Additionally, the point of interest on his eye and rugged look sometimes overshadowed his proper talents as an actor. Elam changed into regarded amongst colleagues for his professionalism, humorousness, and deep understanding of the Western genre. He worked with legendary administrators like Sergio Leone and John Sturges, and he was famous with the aid of co-stars for his capacity to create memorable characters with minimal speak. Yet a great deal of his legacy in Hollywood revolves around his bodily look rather than his complete range as an actor. Though Jack Elam might also have been typecast after Once Upon a Time in the West, his performance within the film helped solidify his repute as a Western icon. The function became a touchstone for the archetype of the grizzled, dangerous outlaw, and his overall performance in the starting scene stays one of the maximum memorable in Western cinema. While the film's success arguably restricted Elam's profession trajectory, it also ensured his place in Hollywood records. Even today, Elam is fondly remembered via enthusiasts of traditional Westerns. His specific face, with that unforgettable eye, continues to be related to the excellent of the genre. He labored nicely into the 80s, appearing in TV indicates, comedies, and westerns, all even as retaining the personality he had perfected over the many years. Despite the typecasting and personal challenges, Jack Elam embraced his function as a Western icon, knowing that his contribution to the genre would be remembered long after his very last appearance on display. In the end, Jack Elam's appearance in Once Upon a Time Inside the West may additionally have cost him the chance to break free from typecasting. However, it also granted him a shape of cinematic immortality. The fee he paid turned into steep, however, the rewards, in terms of his enduring legacy, had been plain. For audiences, his portrayal of rugged, wild-eyed characters maintains to define the spirit of the Western, making Jack Elam a timeless determinant in American movie. Elam exceeded away on October 20, 2003, on the age of 82. His death marked the cease of an era for fans of traditional Westerns, but his legacy lives on through the countless movies and TV shows wherein he seemed. More than just a person actor, Jack Elam became a completely unique skills who should turn any function, regardless of how small, into something unforgettable. He had the uncommon potential to make audiences both worry and love his characters, and his contributions to American cinema are remembered with fondness and admiration. Jack Elam's career is a testament to the electricity of perseverance and individuality in Hollywood. He in no way fit the mold of a conventional main guy, however he didn't want to. His rugged appearance, combined along with his simple talent, allowed him to carve out a space within the enterprise that changed into uniquely his own. Elam's frame of labor spans decades, and his potential to conform as an actor, transitioning from villain to comic, verified his variety and adaptableness. Entertainment Tonight, audiences who grew up looking westerns within the 50s and 60s will all the time accomplish Jack Elam with the gritty, lawless international of the American frontier. But his work in comedy, mainly later in his profession, showcased his potential to entertain in new methods. His lasting impact on movie and television, especially in the Western style, guarantees that Jack Elam's legacy will bear for generations to come.